Now, the blue screen error on your laptop is majorly as a result of a sudden hardware changes. Could be your SSD card or your RAM. Any of them is most often the cause of this regular or frequent blue screen error. Another thing is a software error due to a corrupt Windows. So, in this scenario, I'm going to assume that you have tried to fix it the hardware way by trying to repair your registry and use command prompts to fix it, and it didn't work. I'm going to show you how to fix it the hardware way. You're going to remove the casing of your laptop, that is the back casing, so that you can access two things that we're going to be working on: your RAM and your drive, either SSD drive or your hard drive, whichever one you're using. But in this case, we are using SSD drive on this laptop. So what we're going to do is to replace each of these components one by one, because one of them is definitely the reason for this corrupt for this blue screen error that you're having. So what I'm going to do right now is to remove this SSD card, and I'm going to use another SSD card on it and check if the problem will pop up again. If the problem pops up again, definitely the problem is not the SSD card, it's likely the RAM. So the first thing we want to do is to check the configuration of this SSD card. There are different kinds of SSD card, so you want to make sure you get the exact type for replacement. Now I have another SSD card that I want to use as replacement for this. Now if you look closely, you will see the size of this SSD card and also the type of SSD card that it is. This is an M2 SSD card, and this is, I think it's 256 SSD card. So what I want to do basically is to make sure that the SSD card I'm using for replacement of the old one is the exact type. You don't want to use another type of SSD card for an M1 SSD card. That is not going to be compatible with your PC. So that is why it is very, very important to make use of the exact SSD card that you remove from your system. Now I'm going to place this one back the way it was before. Carefully fix it into the slots. I want to make sure that I fit in properly into a slot. Alright, so it's done. Next thing we want to do is to put in the screw and screw this. So I'm going to close this, the back panel again, and then start up the PC. I'm going to assume that that is the reason for the blue screen. Remember that after closing this up, you try to start up the PC and the problem repeats itself. There's one other thing that we still need to change on this laptop, and I'm going to show you how to replace it. Alright, so this is starting up normally, and if this did not work for you, the next thing you want to do is to replace the other components inside the laptop. So I'm going to remove the back panel again and show you one other thing that you need to replace inside this laptop. So the next thing that we want to replace is your RAM. RAM is can be a major cause of the blue screen error on your laptop. So you want to make sure that um, your RAM is still good. So what I'm going to do just to be sure is to replace the old RAM with this new RAM. Now when you want to replace it, ensure that the new RAM you're using is the exact type of RAM for your laptop. It's the exact type of RAM that was removed from your laptop before. There are different kinds of RAM, so you want to make sure that the speed of the RAM, the type of RAM is the same as the old one that you removed from your laptop. Alright, so having replaced the RAM, I am going to close up the panel and try to power the system on. Okay, so you can see that this came up very fast and is beginning to load. So let's just watch and see what is going to happen. Okay, so it loaded into this recovery mode, and the reason why it loaded into this mode is because the system has been shutting down several times because of the blue screen error. So that is why I brought out this. So what I'm going to do is just to continue Windows. So I'm going to click continue Windows. Just select the option on the left and then click continue Windows, and then it's going to restart itself, and let's see what is going to happen. So this is booting into Windows normally, and this is what the major problem that this was facing before. I can see it has taken us to desktop, which means the problem of this blue screen has been resolved. Remember I said earlier, another thing that can cause this is corrupt Windows operating system. So if you notice that your own Windows operating system is corrupt, what you want to do is use command prompt to fix the issue. Alright, so that is it folks. This has solved the problem on this laptop. If this video was helpful, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, share so that others can benefit also. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.